American tariffs on Canadian imports could now come in two waves, with the first blow as early as Saturday. The new details coming the same day Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly traveled to Washington in a last-ditch effort to stave off the threat. Emily Taylor joining us live in studio with the latest on this. Emily.
Matt, U.S. lawmakers still maintain that the tariffs would not be imposed if they're satisfied with Canada's border security measures. Meanwhile, more local officials are chiming in to the conversation.
We don't want to see reciprocal actions on both sides. We don't want to see a harmful trade war. We need to really focus on finding solutions.
St. Catharines Mayor Matt Cisco and his counterpart in Portage, Indiana, released an open letter to U.S. President Donald Trump today, saying tariffs would be devastating to the cities along the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Seaway. They say the region supports over 50 million jobs on both sides of the border, which could be jeopardized by the tariffs.
The Premier has talked about 500,000 jobs across Ontario. The reality is that in border communities like our own, that percentage, the number of jobs that are dependent on the export market is even higher. And so we know that the brunt is going to be shared in places like Niagara.
That's the message Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly is taking to Washington, D.C. today. The minister is meeting with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio to talk trade. Earlier this week, Joly said she believes diplomacy can hold off these proposed 25% tariffs on all Canadian imports. But the White House's new press secretary said yesterday Trump's tariffs on Canada and Mexico, going into effect February 1st, is still on the books.
And the president has also put out specific statements in terms of Canada and Mexico when it comes to what he expects in terms of border security.
And today, Trump's pick for Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick suggested Canada may be able to avoid tariffs by acting swiftly to strengthen the border, but said there may be a second round of tariffs in the spring.
So this is a separate tariff to create action from Mexico and action from Canada. And as far as I know, they are acting swiftly. And if they execute it, there will be no tariff. And if they don't, then there will be.
An economics professor from the University of Toronto says even if Canada manages to hold off the tariffs for now, the threat of them could still impact our economy.
When companies don't know what's going to happen in 6 months, they're less likely to hire new workers or invest in new projects. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump hung this over our head up until CUSMA is renegotiated in 2026 or even before that.
Trump's pick for Commerce Secretary also said the government would have to study tariffs on Canada beyond any initial duties placed on Saturday. Ottawa has prepared multiple options for retaliatory tariffs, depending on what the Trump administration ultimately does.